flicking paint in your canvas. It can be great fun and get some wonderful effects. But don't forget which way the brush and the knife go. If you get that wrong, you can end up looking like, well, a right nana. Well, hello, welcome back to the studio. Northern Lights paintings. A painting that anyone can paint? I think so, but there are 5 important hacks that I'm going to do in this next tutorial. I'm going to point out some of the things that, well, are very obvious, which you need to get right, and maybe a few things which, well, might slip your mind occasionally. Whichever way you paint this, you'll have fun, but it's for oils only. If you want to do this in acrylics, there are other techniques, but this isn't one of them. Anyway, let's get on with the painting. So, out with the notepad.
For today's painting, I'm using this, a 12 by 16 canvas painted with black gesso. I'm going to be using this product, Bob Ross Liquid Clear Oil Paint, from a small airtight container. I've also got an old landscape 1-inch brush. I'm going to use this to scrub on a very thin, even coat of the liquid clear. My first hack, and possibly one of the most important, is to make sure you apply the right amount. A little too much, well, that'll get you into trouble. So let's learn how to test our canvas. The challenge we have though is that, well, liquid clear is clear and you can't see how much is on the canvas. So I like to test it using this. It's my mobile phone, but anything with a light on will do the job fine. Notice when I run my finger across the canvas, it leaves just barely a mark, but you can see the canvas is definitely a little on the wet side, but not too wet. Unlike this patch, well, you can see I left it a little thick here, just to demonstrate. When I run my finger through this, well, it leaves a little trail. That's going to get me into trouble. What I need to do is take my 1-inch brush and just scrub across the canvas one more time to even out the surface. And check it once again. I'm going to use this 1-inch brush again. The problem is it's full of liquid clear, so give it a good dry clean on a paper towel.
Before we get started, let's look at some short clips of the Aurora. Some sped up and some real-time footage because they don't actually move that quickly. Pay special attention to the edges of the Aurora. They're not sharp, they're quite blurred. It's really quite smooth looking. Come back to these clips a few times as you're doing your own painting, just to make sure that you're getting it looking just right.
So here's my palette. Just a few colours today. A little ochre and some titanium white, Prussian blue, sap green and phthalo green, and well, maybe cat yellow later on. But my starting colour is phthalo blue and a touch of white. This is my number 2 hack. I want to add a touch of this colour to the background sky. It'll really help my little tree show up in the background later on. And here's a little demo to illustrate the problem. A black tree on a black background just doesn't show. As you can see, I don't want this to be a bright blue colour, just a midnight blue colour. I'll put some here across the centre of my canvas, and maybe I'll introduce a little bit more in the top left corner. I'm going to use this brush again, so once more, a good dry clean to get rid of the blue colour. I'm going to go straight into some sap green and phthalo green. I like to mix the two because I find phthalo green, well, just a little bit too sort of fluorescent for my painting. I'll use a brush mixture of the two and fill this dark gap through the centre, making sure I overlap into the edge of the blue just here. The problem is, it's a very transparent green colour and I can't tell how much I've got. So hack number 3, always test your colours. Here you see I use my fingertips. I just touch them to the canvas and make sure I got a good strong colour. An essential part of painting a really good Northern Lights painting. For my Northern Lights, I actually don't want pure bright white. Here you see I've taken some contaminated white and added a little touch of yellow ochre to it to make an off-white colour. Now, let's use a fan brush and apply some off-white colour to our canvas. Hack number 4. Don't overload your fan brush. you'll notice that I'm grooming the paint through my brush, but I'm actually knocking off the surplus. Don't go too bright too quickly. I want to sort of follow this rough angle by just tapping with my fan brush and laying down a small amount of colour. Just tap it on, a few nice sort of zigzags across the painting. For the next step, you're going to want one of these, a nice fresh 1-inch brush. Use the softest one you have. Now, pay careful attention. I start the stroke just below the band of the aurora. I wipe between every upward stroke. This is hack number 4. Don't start on top of that band of light. Start just below it. Here's a couple of examples where I started right on top of the band and I don't get that nice soft look. Here you see that sharp edge and a lack of colour in the aurora. In fact, some of it is still showing through as white. Here you see I swung my camera around to the side so you can see how much pressure I'm applying to those bristles. I'm leaning on the canvas quite hard and pulling up a good amount of green into my northern lights. Now here's the top tip. Do your northern lights in 2 stages. Here you see I've introduced a little cad yellow into my colour, and I'm just going to tap on a couple of little extra bits of highlight. By doing a second step, you introduce the idea that there is sort of a wave into my northern lights. It doesn't look so flat. By having highlights and low light shadow colours, you see I get this sort of ripple effect. It's a neat trick, and I hope you try this with your own northern lights paintings. I'll use a little time lapse to add a second band to my northern lights. Once again, a nice firm upward stroke, making sure I start low enough down to grab some of that background green colour. I'm going to add some reflections of my northern lights into some water. Fairly still water, so maybe I'll add a few ripples to it later on. You just don't have to be too careful when you're doing this. The eye is easily fooled. What you see above, you see below, and as long as they're roughly in the right place, and the right size and the right position, your eye will accept one as a reflection of the other. Now let's add some fir trees. For this, I'm going to gather up all the blue and green colours and mix them into one good dark green colour. Make sure you mix them well. I take a second fan brush. As you see, I load it well to a chiselled edge and then give myself a new horizon line. I just tap it on there in roughly the right position, a little below halfway. If you see me paint these before, you know that I like to start off by just marking the centre lines of my first few fir trees, but there's a problem. Yes. Okay, I forgot to hit record. It happens. So I've painted a few more for you. Now remember our top tip from earlier on, that hack with some blue colour in the background? Here you see me painting a fir tree, but not against a black background, but against a bluish background. It really makes those trees stand out. If you find fir trees a challenge, try painting them in 2 stages. In the first stage you saw, I put in just the main central area to my fir tree. Now I go back over it, adding some side branches. This saves you having to try and do it all in one go. It keeps you in a nice position and gets your trees into a good shape. I try and leave a little of my background blue colour shining through. Now add a touch more colour to the riverbank and let's do some more of those wonderful reflections. Here you see, again, just looking for abstract shapes. As long as they're dark, in the right positions and roughly the right size, your eye is easily fooled. But I think my fir trees need a little bit of highlight. For this I use my brush which I did the auroras with, and I add a little of my green colour, but not too bright. This wants to be a subdued highlight, Remember, these fir trees are being seen at night time. So that's hack number 5 for your Northern Lights painting. Don't go too mad with the highlights. But if you do want to make them a little brighter, pick the 2 furthest from the centre. It draws your eye to the middle of the painting. They sort of act like ushers, directing you to the middle of the scene. My painting needs one more feature. Yes, snow. So let's pull some in. This is a really fun technique for a beginner. Using your fan brush, again, not too bright, and just dragging some colour from the base of those fir trees. Nice shallow angle. Remember, you're pulling this in to the edge of the water. Maybe a little brighter in the centre, the aurora catching the snow a little brighter, and soften them out. Save some shadows though. I tap my palette knife into a little bit of that off-white colour and add a few frosty water lines. Firm pressure, keep the knife fairly level and give it a good scrub. Push it down into the canvas and rub, and just allow the paint to peel away. They don't have to be too bright again. You see, it just adds a nice finishing touch to my painting. Just one last thing to do, and that's to use my nice 1-inch brush to blur the reflections a little more. Just gently press and pull. Keep the brush travelling fairly level. You can blur these out quite a bit if you wish, but I did not do too much with them.
One final step. I've got a liner brush and a tiny drop of that creamy white paint and a drop of thinners on it. Let's add 1 or 2 little stars. Tiny little touch, point into the brush. Ooh. Move them around. I think with this we have a finished painting. And as many or as few as you like. So there we have it. Northern Lights, a beginner's painting that anyone can paint? I think so. With my top 5 hacks, you'll have a successful painting. Happy painting, people. Too big. Bold. If one does get away from you, you can always touch it on there and the night sky. That didn't work, did it?